Hey everyone. So I wanted to share something that I've been working on these past few weeks. As many of you know, I'm into spearfishing, and I also love to do product design and 3D printing and stuff like that. And I'm right now currently working on a new mount for my Pathos 82 centimeter laser open carbon. This is one of my first guns that I've picked up when I got into spearfishing, and I've been making mods for it ever since. So currently, the thing that I'm working on is creating a new mount for the bands. I converted this from a conventional front loading gun to an inverted roller, or actually a fusion inverted roller. So that meaning you have a band on the top as well as the bottom here. And what I'm working on is basically this thing. And what the reason for this is basically I didn't like just having a nub right here because like traditional like the ones that you buy at the stores, there's just like a little plug that you drill into the pipe, and that's where you would you mount your bands when you load the gun. But I wanted something where I can add a little bit more buoyancy to the gun, because right now this gun sinks just because of my dive light right there I have at the front. It just sinks, and it's I'm trying to get this thing to be neutral in the water, like it would at least float or suspend. So I'm hoping adding one like this, adding a this new mount will help with buoyancy, as well as having the option of loading my bands onto it. And I've been going through different iterations for this thing. Very first one is actually this one here. Okay, actually I'm sorry, this is like the second iteration, the second version. The first version actually had a camera mount designed on here. Okay, so this one's made out of ASA, which will eventually be the material used for the final version of this. And right now this is just a PLA, or I'm sorry, PETG, but a very thin wall, or just a single layer wall, just to just to do a fitment and see how the overall look, you know. So yeah, so this is version 1 or version 1.2. Here's version 2. You can see it's much larger. Again, fits right there. This is a different shape to it. I thought this would work. Actually, it could work, but I wanted to make it look a little bit more dynamic, and instead of just this shape. It's a little plain to my eye. Here's version 2. A little tapered towards the 2/3 front of it. Okay, same thing at the bottom. It's kind of the same mount setup, except you have a little drop right here, or a taper, I would say. You can see it change. So between these two, this would probably be the more buoyant of the two, because there's more, I guess, airspace in the middle of this. It's more hollow. There's more volume inside the thing, basically. And now we got revision 3, which is right here. Okay, it's a little bit more. There's more lines onto this. I think it looks much nicer. It feels nicer. And the real point of having it tapered here is because if you can imagine for me, the way I hold my gun sometimes, I don't always hold it at the back end. I like to hold it somewhere along the barrel. So I figured, why not have a holding point right there? So that's the reason for that, especially, and down here as well. You see, so it works. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Right now, I'm just working. This is just the design phase of things. I still got to test it out on the water, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, this is just an update of what's in the works right now. Eventually, I'll have a marketplace where I'll start selling this. Um, I'm actually curious. I mean, if any for anyone that sees this, I mean, is this something you'd wanna add to your gun? I know there are some right now available. Pathos has their own version of this, but it's basically the same deal but different shape, made out of a actually I don't know. I think it's a polyethylene type material. I'll be printing these out of this material, which is ASA. It's a pretty strong material. I mean, I tried breaking this thing with my bare hands. I can't do it. I'm pretty sure if I take a hammer to it, it'll crack at some point. But you'd have to really apply some force to this before it actually breaks. So the final version of this will be made out of ASA. I thought about using polycarbonate and nylon, but I read that those two materials absorbs water, like a lot of water. And the one thing that can happen if you have a material that absorbs water, it can deform. So you won't have a flush connection between the pipe and the mount. So I gotta use ASA. So yeah, that's the update on things. I might start showing more of these videos, and besides the spearfishing stuff, I guess I just want to show you guys like, what's in the works and what can possibly hit the market someday. Still trying to figure out how that all works. There's a bunch of things you got to consider when you're putting things out on the market. Creating a storefront, taxes and all that crap, and mailing these out. I've got to figure out how much, all that's going to cost, and then adjust accordingly to how I'm going to be pricing these. And I've got to compare it to what other companies have released lately. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, when I do the final version, at least the test version of this, it'll work successfully, and then from that point, I can move forward with possibly putting it on the market if there's interest. If you guys just let me know if this would be something you'd be interested in, or if you have any suggestions of, I don't know, something that you'd want for your gun but haven't seen on the market yet. I can possibly come up with a solution for and then make it available. Yeah, just shoot me a line on the message on YouTube, and just let me know. All right, thank you.